The first body appeared on a Tuesday, found in a parking lot behind a strip mall in Nogales, Arizona. Male, mid-30s. 3 gunshot wounds to the chest, no identification, no witnesses, no apparent connection to anyone in the community. But the tattoos told a different story. Symbols that law enforcement recognized immediately. Cartel markings, organizational affiliation inked into skin. This was not a random murder. This was a message. 72 hours later, 2 more bodies. Different location, same signature, same cartel tattoos on the victims, same execution-style wounds. The war had crossed the border, and American civilians were about to become collateral damage. This is DEA Hunter, and this is the story of Operation Iron Curtain. The conflict had been building for 18 months. 2 cartels fighting for control of the most lucrative smuggling corridor on the border, the Nogales Plaza, a 30-mile stretch where geography favored transit, where tunnels could be constructed, where roads connected directly to American highways heading north. Control of this corridor meant control of billions in annual drug revenue. Fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, everything flowed through this choke point. Whoever controlled the plaza controlled the pipeline. The incumbent organization had held the territory for over a decade, established relationships with local officials, embedded operatives on both sides of the border. Infrastructure built over years of patient investment. The challenger was hungrier, more violent, willing to sacrifice soldiers in numbers the incumbent could not match. They had been pushing north from Sinaloa for 2 years, taking territory village by village, eliminating opposition with systematic brutality. Now they wanted Nogales, and they were willing to burn the city to take it. The DEA had monitored the escalation through intelligence networks cultivated over decades. Informants reported troop movements. Communication intercepts revealed operational planning. The pattern was unmistakable. A major offensive was being prepared. But cartel wars on Mexican soil, while devastating, were beyond direct American intervention. Jurisdictional boundaries limited response options. Diplomatic protocols required restraint. The bodies in Arizona changed everything. Those 3 victims were not random casualties. They were operatives, soldiers stationed in the United States to manage distribution networks north of the border. Their elimination was a tactical strike, a demonstration that the challenger could reach across the border, that no one was safe anywhere. The message was received by both sides. The incumbent organization began reinforcing its American operations. Armed personnel appeared at stash houses. Counter-surveillance increased. The distribution network shifted to defensive posture. The challenger responded by escalating further. Intelligence indicated a major operation was being planned, not a smuggling run, not a distribution expansion, an assault, armed incursion into American territory to eliminate the incumbent's leadership structure. 47 armed cartel soldiers were preparing to cross the border. Their target, a compound in southern Arizona where the incumbent organization's regional leadership was believed to be operating. Their mission, total elimination. The casualties would not be limited to cartel members. The compound was located in a residential area. Families lived within a 2-block radius. An elementary school sat 3 blocks away. A firefight of the anticipated scale would produce civilian casualties measured in dozens. What concerns you more about cartel violence? The military-grade weapons they deploy, the willingness to operate on American soil, or the civilian communities caught in crossfire? Consider that as this investigation reveals how close we came to disaster. The DEA faced a situation without clear precedent. A foreign armed force was planning military action on American soil. The target was a criminal organization, but the collateral damage would fall on American citizens. Coordination began immediately. FBI counterterrorism protocols activated. Department of Homeland Security involved. Border Patrol tactical units positioned. Arizona National Guard placed on standby. The challenge was intelligence. When would the attack occur? Which crossing point would be used? How would 47 armed individuals transit the border undetected? The answer came from an informant whose life would be measured in hours once his betrayal was discovered. The crossing would occur in 4 days. The location: a remote ranch property straddling the border, owned by an American citizen with financial ties to the Challenger organization. The property featured a natural depression in the terrain that concealed movement from border sensors. a known vulnerability that had never been addressed. The 47 soldiers would cross in 3 waves. First wave, scout and security elements. Second wave, assault force. Third wave, support and extraction. The entire crossing would take approximately 90 minutes. From the crossing point, vehicles would transport the force to a staging area 12 miles north. From there, the assault on the incumbent compound would commence at 0300 hours. Darkness, confusion, maximum violence. The operational timeline gave the DEA 4 days to prepare a response that would prevent mass casualties without triggering international incident. Let me be clear about what was at stake. The incumbent compound housed approximately 15 cartel operatives. All were armed. All were prepared to defend. All would die rather than surrender to rivals. The Challenger assault force numbered 47, military-grade weapons, tactical training from former special operations personnel hired by the cartel, coordination exceeding most professional military units. The firefight would last between 20 and 45 minutes based on tactical projections. Ammunition expenditure would exceed 3,000 rounds. Explosive devices were anticipated based on previous Challenger operations. Within the potential impact zone, 84 residential structures, 216 registered residents including 43 children, an elementary school that opened at 7:30 each morning, a community center, 2 churches. The attack was scheduled for 3 in the morning. The school would be empty, but the residential structures would be occupied, families sleeping, unaware of the war about to erupt around them. Projected civilian casualties, minimum 12 to 18, maximum 40 to 60 if the firefight extended or if fires spread through the residential area. Children among the projected dead. This was not acceptable. This could not be allowed to occur. The response plan developed over 72 hours of continuous planning, multiple agencies, multiple jurisdictions, multiple contingencies. The crossing point would be the primary interdiction location. Intercept the assault force before they reached American soil. Prevent the weapons from entering the country. Neutralize the threat at its origin. Border Patrol tactical units would establish positions along the likely crossing route. DEA tactical teams would provide support. FBI hostage rescue assets would remain in reserve. Arizona Department of Public Safety would secure perimeter roads. Coordination with Mexican authorities presented complications. The ranch property extended into Mexican territory. Any operation on the southern side required Mexican participation, but Mexican federal forces were stretched thin fighting cartel violence throughout the country, and the Challenger organization had demonstrated ability to compromise law enforcement on both sides. The decision was made to focus on American soil, allow the crossing to begin, interdict once the force committed to American territory, arrest and prosecute under American law. The legal framework was complex. These were foreign nationals conducting what amounted to military operation. Terrorism statutes applied. RICO violations were clear. Weapons charges would stack. The sentences would be measured in lifetimes. 48 hours before the scheduled crossing, surveillance assets deployed. Ground sensors positioned, aerial observation established. Thermal imaging platforms circled at high altitude. Every approach to the crossing point was monitored. The Challenger organization maintained operational security throughout. No communication intercepts revealed last-minute changes. The informant reported that the timeline remained unchanged. The assault force was staging in a town 18 miles south of the border. Weapons distributed. Vehicles prepared. 24 hours before crossing, the incumbent organization made an unexpected move. They evacuated the compound. Intelligence sources reported that the incumbent leadership had received warning of the impending assault. Not the details, not the timeline, but enough to trigger defensive measures. The 15 operatives and their leadership structure relocated to an unknown secondary location. The Challenger's target had evaporated, but the Challenger did not know. The assault force would cross the border. They would reach the compound. They would find it empty. And then what? Frustration, rage, heavily armed soldiers with no target and no plan. The residential neighborhood remained at risk. 47 armed individuals with nothing to attack might choose other targets, might vent their frustration on the community, might decide that civilian casualties would send an appropriate message. The operational plan required adjustment. The crossing interdiction remained the primary objective, but the stakes had increased. 12 hours before scheduled crossing, final briefings completed. 112 law enforcement personnel positioned across 13 locations, communication networks tested, medical evacuation assets staged. The operation was ready. 6 hours before crossing, movement detected at the staging area in Mexico. Vehicles departing, heading north. The assault force was moving ahead of schedule. The reason became clear within the hour. Weather. A storm system was approaching. The Challenger wanted to cross before conditions deteriorated. The timeline compressed from 6 hours to approximately 90 minutes. All units advanced to primary positions. The acceleration eliminated contingency planning time. Whatever happened next would happen fast. 0-100 hours. First wave crossed the border. Thermal imaging tracked 8 individuals moving through the natural depression in the terrain. Scout elements, checking for surveillance, testing the route. They moved with professional discipline. Spacing maintained, hand signals coordinating movement. They detected nothing. The surveillance assets were positioned beyond their search radius. The border appeared clear. 0-1-22 hours. Second wave began crossing. 23 individuals. The main assault force. Weapons visible on thermal imaging. Moving in tactical formation. They reached American soil within 12 minutes. Began loading into vehicles staged on the American side of the ranch property. 0-1-41 hours. Third wave initiated. 16 individuals. Support elements. Additional weapons and ammunition. Extraction vehicle drivers. They crossed quickly. The route now confirmed safe by 2 preceding waves. 0-1-53 hours. All 47 individuals confirmed on American soil. Vehicles loaded. Convoy preparing to depart toward the staging area. 0-1-55 hours. Interdiction ordered. The convoy never reached the main road. Border Patrol tactical vehicles blocked the ranch access road from 3 directions simultaneously. Spotlights illuminated the convoy. Commands broadcast in Spanish demanded immediate surrender. Helicopter support arrived within 90 seconds, thermal imaging locking every individual in the target vehicles. The Challenger soldiers faced a decision: fight against overwhelming force with no tactical advantage, or surrender and face American justice. 11 chose to fight. The firefight lasted 4 minutes and 23 seconds. Automatic weapons fire from 3 vehicles was met with coordinated response from 6 tactical positions. The helicopter provided suppressive capability that prevented organized resistance. When silence returned, 11 Challenger soldiers were dead, 7 wounded. 29 had surrendered without engaging. The convoy was destroyed. The assault had failed before reaching its target. Law enforcement casualties: 2 Border Patrol agents wounded, neither life-threatening. Both would recover fully. The weapons recovery was staggering. 43 assault rifles, including 17 fully automatic, 12 submachine guns, 67 handguns, over 8,000 rounds of ammunition, 14 fragmentation grenades, 4 rocket-propelled grenade launchers with 11 warheads, explosive charges sufficient to level multiple structures. This was not a gang. This was a military force equipped for sustained combat operations. What would have happened if this force had reached the residential neighborhood? The tactical analysis was conducted afterward. Based on weapons recovered, ammunition carried, and tactical doctrine observed, the projected outcome was catastrophic. The incumbent compound would have been destroyed within the first 5 minutes. All 15 defenders killed. The structures leveled by explosive charges. But the assault would not have ended there. RPG rounds would have been fired at vehicles attempting to flee. At least 3 residential structures would have sustained direct hits based on the compound's proximity to neighbors. Fragmentation grenades would have been employed against any perceived threat. Automatic weapons fire would have penetrated the walls of surrounding homes. Projected civilian casualties: minimum 28 dead, maximum 53, including up to 19 children, injuries exceeding 100, fires spreading through at least 12 structures. The elementary school 3 blocks away would have opened 6 hours after the assault. Children walking past a war zone, bodies potentially still visible. A community traumatized for generations. None of this occurred because the interdiction succeeded. 29 cartel soldiers faced federal prosecution. Charges included conspiracy to commit murder, weapons violations, terrorism-related offenses, and illegal entry. Sentences ranged from 30 years to life imprisonment. None would ever see freedom again. The 11 dead were identified through fingerprint and DNA analysis. All had extensive criminal histories in Mexico. All were linked to multiple homicides. Their elimination prevented future violence that would have claimed additional lives. The 7 wounded received medical treatment in American facilities before prosecution. Their testimony would prove valuable in understanding the Challenger organization's structure and operations. The informant who provided the intelligence was extracted before the operation, relocated with a new identity. His family joined him within weeks. The cartel never discovered who betrayed them. Here is what Operation Iron Curtain revealed about the evolving threat. Cartels are no longer criminal organizations. They are paramilitary forces with capabilities matching professional militaries, weapons procurement, tactical training, operational planning, communication security. The Challenger organization deployed a force that would have overwhelmed most local law enforcement agencies. Without federal intervention, without multi-agency coordination, the assault would have succeeded. The civilian casualties would have occurred. The border is not just a smuggling route. It is a potential battlefield. The violence-consuming Mexican communities can cross into American territory whenever the cartels decide the benefits outweigh the risks. This time, the calculation failed. The interdiction succeeded. The civilians survived. But the conditions that created this threat persist. The drug demand that funds cartel armies continues. The territorial disputes that drive violence remain unresolved. The weapons flow that arms these forces has not stopped. Operation Iron Curtain prevented one assault. It did not end the war. The incumbent organization remains in control of the Nogales corridor, weakened by the conflict but operational, still moving drugs north, still generating billions in revenue. The Challenger organization absorbed the loss of 47 soldiers, recruited replacements within weeks, continues planning operations, continues probing for weakness. The next assault may come in Nogales, or Laredo, or El Paso, or any of dozens of communities along the 2,000-mile border where cartels compete for territory. The residents of that Arizona neighborhood never knew how close they came. They slept through the interdiction 12 miles away, woke to normal Tuesday routines, sent their children to school at the elementary 3 blocks from a compound that was supposed to be a war zone. They will never know the names of the agents who protected them, never know about the informant who risked everything to provide warning, never know that 47 armed soldiers planned to bring war to their street. That anonymity is intentional. Protection works best when it is invisible, when communities can live without fear because others carry that burden for them. This is what DEA Hunter documents. Not just the drugs seized, not just the arrests made, but the invisible shield that separates American communities from the violence that would consume them. The cartel war continues south of the border. Bodies still appear. Villages still burn. The conflict claims thousands of lives annually in Mexico. But here, in this community, children walk to school. Families sleep peacefully. The war remains somewhere else. Because one night, 112 Americans stood between them and catastrophe. And the line held. What surprised you most about this operation? The military capabilities of cartel assault forces, the planned attack on American soil, or how close 43 children came to witnessing a massacre outside their school? Share your thoughts below. How should border communities prepare for potential cartel violence? What role should federal forces play in protecting American soil? This has been DEA Hunter, Operation Iron Curtain, 47 cartel soldiers intercepted, 28 civilian deaths prevented, 1 community saved from knowing war. The line between nations is also a line between peace and chaos, and that line must be held. Subscribe for more operations. Share this story. Follow DEA Hunter for the investigations that protect your community. The war continues. The threats evolve. The shield remains. Stay vigilant. Stay informed. Stay alive. DEA Hunter, holding the line.